this one as well. So the idea today, we started last week with trying to understand how we can trigger the restorative and the relaxed response on demands by tapping into the parasympathetic part of the nervous system. So we also understand that we can trigger the stress response on demand. And we do trigger that most of both out of our conscious, so we do it automatically. So how does it happen? How do we trigger the stress response? How do we trigger that rush, that anxious state? It happens by thought. So let's say you have an argument with your partner or with your boss or with someone, and then the argument disappears, and then there's the day after, and you start to think about the argument again. And you think about it, and you have it on your mind, and you go again, and you ruminate, and you might go back to certain words that you say to each other, and then you might add, because memory is creative. So you add into things, and then you start by thought alone, start to feel again into that stress response. You might start to tap into an emotion, which is frustration, which might be anger. So it all happens in your head by thought alone. So what mindfulness offers us is our ability to understand and spot ourselves in the moment of what we're thinking. What are we creating in the moment? So the more we practice being able to spot ourselves, oh, this is what I'm thinking, then the more you'll be able to stop the pattern and to interrupt the pattern before it develops and it becomes an emotion. So one thought alone won't trigger an emotion. And we want to be living in a state and cultivating emotions that are going to empower us to be our best, to behave our best, to perform, to tap into our full potential. We don't want to be living by emotions of frustration, anger, resentment, stress, rush. So the idea by practicing mindfulness is to be able to interrupt the thought that allows for that emotion to appear. Initially, there's a thought, but then that thought grows. It grows and it becomes 2 thoughts, 3 thoughts, and fully out of your awareness, you are in your mind, remembering an event, going over again and again and again. And then the body starts to interpret that as an emotion. It starts to create an emotion that develops into, oh, I feel angry again, even though I had the fight yesterday. Okay? So you're reliving it again and you create an emotion again, regardless of what's going on in the moment. Okay, so that's what we do all day long. That's what's going on in our heads all day long about everything. You might be causing this by thinking of the future, something that you have on, a big presentation, a big project at work, a board meeting that you need to present, and you might be going, what if I do this? What if I stumble? What if I say the wrong thing? And you're like, by thought alone, you're already signaling your body to be alert. You're creating a state of emotion that is rush, that is stress, that is anxious. And that happens all in your head, regardless of, you could be lying on the couch in your bed, looking at the sunset or whatever, and you're thinking that, you are tapping and you're activating that sympathetic response. So the beauty that mindfulness offers us is to be able to spot straight away what it is that we're thinking. Where is our focus? The thoughts are fed by our attention. So whatever you feed, whatever you focus on, grows. If you think about eating, if I eat, I'm feeding my stomach, I get fat, it grows. It's the same. If I feed a thought, an anxious thought, or a thought of frustration, anxiety, resentment, hatred, a thought like that, it will grow. You make it bigger. So we want to spot it before it grows, before it becomes an emotion. You might know or meet some people that live on a state, and that kind of becomes your personality, and you say, he's an angry person or he's a resentful person. It's because they've been living, ruminating on that thought, or maybe on one moment in their life, anchor themselves there, they became that way. So before we become certain way, we need to be able to interrupt those patterns that take us to being a certain way. As I say, we want to be empowered. We want to live in a state of contentment, appreciation, strength, growth, where we could face what is there to be faced, which is reality, but we are not dwelling on things that we are in the past, because we are not our past. We can grow from our past, learn from our past, and we don't have to go into a future that in a place that might never happen, a worry situation. Okay, so today's meditation is going to allow us to focus and understand what it is that we tend to think mostly. So I'm going to guide you into this mindfulness session, and I'm going to help you to quiet your mind, and then you're going to be observing what comes up. You're not going to try to stop the mind from thinking. You're going to be open to whatever comes and see what you start to think. Become aware exactly of what it is that you're thinking. It might be, oh, I'm remembering yesterday, my dinner last night. So you straight away say to yourself, remembering. So you label that. You can write it down and say, remembering. Then you go back, try to quiet your mind, and you're open for the next thing. And then you might start to remember a meeting that you had. And then you go, remembering again. You write down remembering, or you just have a mental note, remembering. Then you go quiet again, and you might start to worry or think about, oh, what am I having for dinner tonight? And then you go planning. So you want to label your pattern of thought. This is incredible, and it helps a lot of high performance as well to understand your own patterns. And then you might be, I'm always planning, I'm always reliving, I'm always remembering, I'm always worrying, I'm always anticipating, I'm always projecting. So you start to know yourself, you start to know your own patterns of thought, which tend to become patterns of behavior. Those patterns of behavior that get unnoticed become your personality, become, I am always worrying, I am always stressed, I am always planning, I am always remembering. Then you might be too attached to the past, I am always reliving. So does it make sense what we're trying to do here? So again, this is an exercise I do, which is not a very relaxing kind of meditation that we normally will do. It's a more an awareness meditation, which will empower you to know yourself better, to have those tools for you. The more you do it, the more you'll understand who you are and what your tendencies are. Again, tendencies and patterns of thoughts, which leads to patterns of behavior. You will be able to spot yourself more in the moment, or look at what I'm doing. I'm worrying again. I'm already going into a future that might not happen. So you interrupt that moment and you come back into the present, you calm your body, you signal your body, you restore, you come again, you interrupt that pattern. Whatever you interrupt, it stops growing, you stop feeding it before it becomes a more established pattern that can harm you, can harm your body, that takes away from your health. So, as I said, have the pain if you want to. Otherwise, you can just observe and have a mental note. Try to remember what you spot the most. There will be something predominant that is uniquely yours. Will be planning, remembering, worrying. It will be one thing that it will come for you. Sometimes it's messy, and it could be a little bit of everything. So this is a kind of practice that I encourage you to try to do more than once, just until you know yourself what you tend to do. It's magical. It's very powerful to understand who you are and how you're showing up to the world. We tend to think, I'm like this, I'm this way. And then these practices offer us a good insight. Clarity of self is called, which is another high performance habit. Any high performance, anyone that is great at what they do, they know themselves. They know how to need to show up to the world. They know the person they need to be and become the person they are being in the moment. Okay, how are you showing up to others? How are you showing up to yourself? So this is that kind of mindfulness practice. It's one of the most powerful, I believe, there is. So give it as much attention as you can, and as much repetition as you can. So let's start by finding a comfortable position again. You can lie down or just sit. We're gonna let go of this chat for now. Becoming very, very comfortable. Close your eyes. Take a nice deep belly breath. Feel your belly like a big balloon. Exhale, big sigh. Sigh it out as if it was the end of the day and you had a huge day. So you go straight away, signal your body that you're relaxing, and you go. Let's do this again. Inhaling deep belly breath. The diaphragm signals the nervous system. Exhale, big sigh, and now soften your shoulders. Again, with that presence and that awareness, you start to signal the body and tell your body and tell your nervous system that this is a safe space. That this is time for you to fully relax and restore. This is again a transition, an in-between time. Now find a natural rhythm to your breath. Know you're breathing in. Know you're breathing out. Might need to use that mouth to sigh it out a few more times to release the tension. As much as you can, you want to use your inner resources, your awareness, your attention, the releasing and untightening of your muscles, the breath that heals you as you inhale, that vitalizes you, and the exhalation, which is a letting go resource. Feel your body pressing down onto the support, the couch or the floor, wherever you are. You're melting, you're softening, you're surrendering into this moment. There is a passive approach where you're not trying or forcing for an action on a behavior. You're allowing yourself just to be. Allowing this breath to anchor you to this moment. Just observe this moment. What is happening in this moment? Trying to put everything behind your day so far, everything you have coming up through the day, being able to detach from our doings, from us being human doings, from becoming a human being. I am here now and I want to be here. This intention. Every time there's intention, you're activating the conscious mind. Once you're conscious, you're present, you're aware. You're not on the past, you're not on the future, you're here. Continue to find that natural rhythm to your breath. Relax your breath. With the next exhalation, just feel as if you are arriving home to your nest. So settle in. Notice the inhalation, and each inhalation, the air as it enters the body. Try to deepen it a little bit, still natural without forcing it. Notice the air as it leaves the body, every detail. This state of ease, there's nothing to do, nowhere to be. Starting to observe any thoughts that are arising. Don't search for a thought. Thoughts will come because thinking is the nature of your mind. So our goal is not to stop the mind from thinking. Our intention is to recognize the moment that a thought arises, understand what that thought is, give it a name, label it, Now let the thought go. Become present again, waiting here and still, stillness and ease. Imagine that you're looking at the sky. There's a blue sky. You're looking and you're feeling the breeze of the wind into your skin. And all of a sudden, in that blue sky, there's a cloud appear. That's like a thought. You notice the cloud, you can see it's there. Notice its shape, what kind of cloud it is. And then slowly notice how the cloud moves away. So there's a clear sky again. There's another cloud that arises all of a sudden. That cloud might look like a shape, a particular shape that might remind you of something. And all of a sudden that memory took you away and is carrying you away into a memory of the past, into an event. And then you're gone. So now notice if you've been carried away into that thought that arises. And if you have, just slowly with your awareness, let it go. You're choosing to feel into the present moment. That's how you let go. With intention to feel into your body again, to find your breath again, to find things that exist purely in this moment. You anchor your attention back into this moment until the next thought will arise. And within a course of this meditation, you might have up to 50 to 100 thoughts, and that's okay. The nature of your mind is to think. We want to develop a condition within ourselves to realize, understand what kind of thoughts go unnoticed, what kind of thoughts carry us away into a story that is not real. Because that story is what's taken away from your health. That story that is not real, which started by a thought, it's what might be triggering a sense of rush, a sense of alertness, anxiety, sadness, frustration. Sometimes it might be a positive thought. Then you're choosing to indulge into that memory or into that thought, because that thought that is positive is empowering you to create a state that is going to empower you to create a quality life. So if it's a thought about how grateful you are for your family, or a memory from an event that was a happy event for yourself, then you might want to choose to stay there, because that thought is healing you. It's cultivating an emotion that allows you to live in a state of joy, contentment, gratitude, happiness. You can choose your thoughts as long as you can understand and spot which thoughts your mind creates. You can replace one thought from another one. So try it on this meditation. Notice what comes up, what's coming up for you. Label it. If it serves you, you can stay with it. If it doesn't, let it go. As if you see the cloud passing. Otherwise, observe the thoughts come and go. To come back to the present moment, you can choose any anchor. We call this a home base. It could be sensations in the body. It could be the sensation from your hand touching your lap. It could be the sensation from your buttocks pressing on the cushion or the floor. It could be your breath as the home base. It could be sounds, any sounds that you could hear where you're deciding to rest your attention while you're waiting for the next thought to come. And the next thought will come. Observing without judging, as if you were a neutral witness of your own mind. You don't want to have an opinion, you want to know. Because that knowing is your power. You're seeking for clarity of thought, for clarity of patterns of thoughts that developed into patterns of emotion. Observe in this moment. Any sensations in the body that come and go. Again, always a curiosity approach. When we are curious, we are present. We want to know more. Try not to react to what arises. We call this creating a state of equanimity, which is a non-reaction. Building that equanimity allows you to respond accordingly to what life presents in front of you. Just witnessing, observing in a neutral manner. If you decide to write your thoughts, you can stop to write it and then go back and settle back again. Otherwise, you can do a mental note of labeling that thought or that pattern of thought. Notice if thoughts are similar, such as I'm always remembering, I'm always planning, I'm always reliving, conversing with myself, imagining. Detach from the thought and return to your home base. Trying to always stabilize that mind as you continue to come back to the breath. Witness the breath as if you would witness waves at the beach. It's a conscious choice. Every single second that goes back, you choose to be here. You have intention again to be present, to seek for that clarity, clarity of thought, clarity of self, clarity of tendency, clarity of mind. Notice if there's anything else you can soften in the body. While you're doing this, you want to practice that switching on, that parasympathetic response, which is again healing you, restoring you, interrupting that survival mode. Giving your health back. Notice what else comes up. Try not to react, again, state of equanimity. Notice if you're being carried away or you are able to detach from that thought. You are not your thoughts. You think your thoughts. But each thought has a physical response related to the thought. So the practice empowers you to choose the thoughts that are going to serve you to create an overall state of well-being and health. What are you feeding, unconsciously or consciously? Where are you focusing? Whatever the focus goes, energy flows, it grows, it expands. So choose what you want it to grow and expand. Taking a few deeper breaths now, feel your belly expand through the chest and maybe another side. Start to move your head, feel your body again. Returning very slowly to where we are at. Leaving this practice of clarity behind, letting go of the need to continue to observe anything for now. I want to maybe start to move your fingers, maybe your feet, again your head from side to side, and feel into the movement, sensations in the body. Gently, you can slowly come back and open your eyes when you feel you're ready. So, as I said before, the power of our thoughts is incredible. It affects every part of our health, of our human existence, what we think grows. So we can use them to contribute to our health and our well-being, or we can use them to take away from our health and well-being. So we use gratitude, we use visualization into contributing to creating states that again are going to support us and allows us to be who we want to be or become. So we use gratitude from when we're feeling lack, when we're not feeling joy for life, when we're feeling unhappiness, we're feeling and using visualization when we want to work towards creating and becoming a person that is empowered, that is achieving certain things in life. So we do want to stay with thoughts that are going to empower us, and we want to learn to let go of thoughts that are not empowering us. And we'll repeat this practice again. I would like to then continue on, maybe for you to try a gratitude meditation, so you could feel the response from the body into a memory that is going to allow you to create an empowered state, as opposed to just meditating on thoughts. We could also look at having a visualization, again, for something that you want to turn your life into. Could be any growth, career, relationships, of self, or any sorts of things. We use visualization to guide us into establishing a vision for ourselves, that into creating again a state of empowerment that is going to allow us to focus on that person we want to be and become. So hopefully you found this helpful, but again, I'll send it to you. The more you do it, the more clear it will become to you, your tendencies, who you tend to be, your reactions, your attention, where it tends to go, to ruminate on. As always, if you have any questions, please send me an email. I've been answering emails, even from people that are not here, but then use the recordings. I can support you in any way you need support for anything in your life that you want to create, whatever it is for you personally. Okay?
Thanks, Amy.
You're welcome. Have a good rest of the day.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thanks, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye.